Hi guys, welcome to the channel 70 by 70 Travels. I'm Petra.
And I'm Josh.
And today we're going to talk to you about where we're starting our travels. We are retiring here in just a couple of months, and we then are leaving the United States to go travel the world. So where are we going and how did we make these decisions? That's our topic today. So if you think it's something that you would be interested in learning, following our channel, please feel free, if you would, to go ahead and subscribe to the channel, give us thumbs up, turn on your notification bells, and make as many comments as you wish in the comment section.
Hi, we're Josh and Petra, early retirees traveling the world slowly while sharing honest insights about retirement and life on the road. Join us and share in the journey.
So how did we start out? Well, I think it all began with a cruise that we had planned to take with family. And we knew we wanted to do, I believe it was a river cruise during the Christmas markets, right?
Yes, and we planned this actually almost 2 years ago on Thanksgiving. So that was already locked in before we made this decision. So thinking about, we needed to be back in Europe at that time, and we didn't want to be crisscrossing the world to make sure we were back in Europe at that time. It just made sense for budget and travels to just go ahead and start in Europe.
Yeah. So we were thinking about when are we leaving, and once we decided on the month, we were like, well, we know we want to be on a cruise in leaves out of Rome. How are we going to get to that point? And that brought us to what would be a fun way to transition from the United States to Europe.
Yep. So like Josh said, we had booked basically a business cruise in Rome and needed to get from the US over to Rome. So we booked a transatlantic. We could have easily flown, but we thought, what a better way to start our retirement travel with a way to actually relax.
Yeah.
So a transatlantic, it does have ports of call, but it also has many sea days. And again, starting off, trying to relax, get into the mindset of retirement travel versus the rat race that we're used to doing every day now.
Yeah, and then also, cruise is something we're very familiar with. We also enjoy cruising, ocean cruising and river cruising. And it definitely is one of those types of travel that offers you an opportunity to really unwind if you give it a chance. And this cruise is a fairly long one, so more than a week to get from Florida to Europe. And lots of food, so we'll be challenged with food, and hopefully we'll see some sunshine too. We're going to be on this cruise visiting some spots that we've already visited prior cruises, but it'll be fun to go back and see them again and see if anything has changed since the last time we went through there.
Yeah. So at the end of the second cruise that we had planned, and until the time that we meet family, we basically have about 7 months. What are we going to do? So looking at our budget and our interest, we felt like the Balkans pretty much was the area that we're going to start in. We had a little bit of experience traveling there, like on vacations before, but really didn't get an opportunity to explore as much as we wanted. It tends to be cheaper than Western Europe, and we knew for the river cruise we were going to be more in Western Europe later on. So this was a way for us to kind of balance the budget, so to speak, to help keep that under our annual budget. Although we may go over our monthly budget, but knowing that we're going to be in the lower cost countries to begin with, that we can easily be under our budget, it should balance out.
So just for my account of this was, I really wanted to go back to the Balkans. I really enjoyed that trip that we did take. Like she said, we were in multiple countries for short times, and so you really didn't get we didn't get an opportunity to explore much. But I loved the culture and the food, and the language was really interesting to me. I loved how it was just slightly different the further north you went of Greece. I loved the countryside. We got to see Roman ruins and other things that really made it exciting. So I was happy to know that we were going to go back there.
Yeah. My mom, my sister, and I took a trip right after world was opening back up after COVID. And we went to Corfu, Greece. And that really was prompted from a show that we watched during COVID. We were stuck at home in the wintertime. And we watched a show that was centered in Corfu, Greece. It was called The Durrells in Corfu. And my mom was like, oh my gosh, I want to go there. And it just so happens that Josh and I had actually been there on a cruise for our honeymoon. And it was just a one-day port, and I said, Mom, let's go. So in our preparation and our planning to go to Corfu, I knew that Albania wasn't too far away and an easy ferry ride. So we looked at going to Albania, but unfortunately, Albania wasn't open quite yet. So when we were taking a look at where we want to go, I was interested in going to Corfu, and I was even more ecstatic to find out that as Americans, we can stay one full year on our regular passport with no special visa required. So that made it even more enticing. And the more we started looking at it, the more excited I got. I started watching people, like YouTube videos of Albania, and started following people that have visited Albania and even actually currently live there. And so now is the plan is we're going to use it as a home base for about 2.5 months while we travel short trips to other cities around. But that didn't start that way. We originally were going to move about every 2 weeks.
Yeah, originally was going to be a bit more of a fast travel plan. That was honestly, as much as I wanted to visit the Balkans, I wanted to see a lot of Eastern Europe I hadn't seen before. And really what kind of stunted that was the realization of how expensive it would have been to do that much fast travel in over months. By doing slow travel, it definitely will cut back on our costs. But we will still get to do our weekend trips periodically to some cities that we wanted to visit, so that'll be fun too.
Yeah. So some of the while we're there, and we don't have everything planned out and scheduled in advance, we have ideas of where we want to go, and we're still working on that. But while we're in Albania, because we also have to keep in mind the Schengen rules for how many days. So we thought we had a plan.
Something that just recently we realized that we hadn't really thought about it again.
Right, so we had to go back and make some changes. But
yeah.
While we're in Albania, the first part of the year, we do have more days that we can visit Schengen. So we're looking at doing some places in Greece and Turkey, Romania and Croatia, and Hungary have also joined Schengen. So that changed a little bit, but so we're gonna get to some of those cities, and these are gonna be where we're in there like 3 to 5 days in these cities. We're taking footage for this channel, for the travel channel. And then we're also gonna be spending some time as a home base in Romania. And then, checking other cities that are not in Schengen, so in like North Macedonia or Montenegro or Serbia, places like that.
So following that, our plans are to start, the Schengen shuffle will be a thing of the past at that point, because we're going to start with a tour that leads out of the non-Schengen area into the Schengen area, and then that's where we'll be up until we meet up with family for this cruise. And during that time, we are going to visit other places for their Christmas markets. And so, part of our plan was to stay in less expensive countries as much as possible, be cost efficient wherever we went, even if we did go out of town, so to speak, away from our home base, with the hope that we would be able to save some money for when we did go up north to the Christmas markets, because things were going to be more expensive in the locations we were going. We were going back to Western Europe, countries like Germany and Switzerland that are not inexpensive at all.
Yeah.
In fact, they're the opposite. And then we're going at a time when there are millions of people also visiting, so prices are going up. So it makes it even more expensive overall. So staying in cheaper places over the warmer months, and then spending a little extra dough around the Christmas market areas. But it's a great plan as far as I'm concerned. I'm really excited for it.
So overall, some of the places to expect to see some videos from in our travel channel once we leave include the Balkans area. That area, like I kind of mentioned, Albania, Romania. We're going to try to get into Turkey, see some of Turkey and some of Greece. Then we are going to be in Croatia, Slovenia, Germany, Switzerland, France. We're heading up into the Baltics, so like Helsinki. What am I missing here, Josh?
Well, we're absolutely looking forward to getting up to Finland. We're hopeful that we can make it all the way up to the Arctic Circle, which is where Santa Claus's village is. We are waiting to confirm that it's going to be a possibility. We have something we have to wait on for that. And should it not happen, we have plans to instead investigate the Baltic countries nearby instead. Czech Republic, did you mention?
We're going to be in the Czech Republic?
Yeah. We'll be in the Czech Republic, specifically in Prague. And I think that's about it. We'll be in Paris.
Yeah. Over Christmas. So that's kind of what's coming ahead for our channel. The places that we're going to visit, again, we're still working through and confirming everything, but we're mostly going to be in Europe, all over Europe. And between now and the time that we leave, we did this past year visit places, and just as our Colorado videos we've already put out, we will be putting out video from those places that we have already traveled this year. And then we're going to have more for you once we get on the road.
Yeah. It'll be a lot easier once we're on the road to put those together, have a lot more content. So those are our plans for 2026.
As you know, right, we've mentioned that we don't have everything is not solidified. So in the comments, if you've got a place of interest or to see something in a country or a city that we have already mentioned, please list that below. We'll take a look at it because we're still in the planning phase, and we would be happy to learn from you to go and visit and film it and bring it back to you.
Yeah,
so,
I'd love to incorporate it in our travels.
Yep. So we're going to go ahead and sign off now. Thank you so much for watching. Again, please consider subscribing to our channel, and we will see you in the posts.
See you guys.
Bye.